What is your political platform, and what do you envision as being a better path for Ukraine?
Ukraine's future is defined by its geographic location, at the crossroads of Europe and Eurasia, between Russia and the European Union. The greatest advantage of such a location lies in neutrality, non-alignment, and transit status. By choosing to side with globalists against Russia, Ukraine has nearly lost all of that. Restoring this status, while maintaining U.S. support and normalizing relations with Russia, is the only viable and realistic path for Ukraine. All the narratives about a European future are no more than illusions, just like the promises of NATO, designed solely to justify the severing of ties with Russia and leading the country into war. It may sound like a foolish motivation to plunge one's own nation into conflict, but in Ukraine's case, it worked because those who crafted it understood our national psyche all too well. I am 43 years old. I spent 9 years living in the Soviet Union. My parents were Soviet engineers, raised in a system that guaranteed a minimum standard of living, under one condition: stay out of politics. In fact, the ideal citizen was one who did nothing. Go to a meaningless job and the state will take care of you. Give you a free apartment and education, provide health care, and help raise your children. No initiative was expected. Everything would be provided. This mindset, that the state owes you everything in order, remains a psychological foundation for citizens of all post-Soviet republics. Before 2014, pensions in Ukraine were $100 a month. In Europe, $500. During the Maidan, students demanded Yanukovych's resignation because they believed joining the EU would mean receiving $700 in monthly scholarships instead of $50. The logic was, we don't have to work harder or change anything. Once we're in the EU, we'll instantly live 5 or 10 times better. And used cars are 3 times cheaper there. Everyone will have one. But who's to blame for not having that? Russia. That's how the average Ukrainian saw the world. As cynical as it may sound, war has brought clarity. 7 million Ukrainians who wanted to live in Europe left. 2 million may return. The most radical ideologues died in 2022 to 2023. Those who expected victory over Russia and massive reparations have realized that Ukraine will pay the price. What we face now is widespread disillusionment and confusion. In this difficult period, there is a real chance to build on the ruins of the old, a new state, Ukraine 2.0. This new Ukraine must be free of radical nationalism and the desire for war. It must be a bridge between Europe and Asia, a neutral state whose security is guaranteed by both the United States and Russia. I believe the Mineral Resources Agreement can serve as the foundation for this transformation. If Ukraine, the U.S., and Russia form a consortium to manage Ukraine's transit potential, Ukraine will become a critical regional player. Ukraine's territory hosts oil, diesel, ammonia, and gas pipelines that supply Europe with Russian resources. It has an extensive railway network, Black Sea ports, and an agricultural potential of 55 million tons of grain per year, pre-war. Its nuclear, hydro, and thermal power plants are vital assets for Europe's energy and food security. I believe in the principles of realpolitik. That's why I see strategic cooperation with Ukraine as a unique opportunity for the Trump administration to open new channels with both Russia and Europe. For too long, we were told that Russia uses energy and food as weapons to impose its imperial policy. But the United States can use these same instruments to advance the philosophy and ideals of Trumpism in Europe. After all, traditionalism, Christian morality, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, political competition, and national economic interests. These are the pillars of Trump's philosophy, and they align with the interests of any rational nation not infected by the virus of globalism. This is the essence of my political platform, and it includes one distinctive personal conviction. I believe the office of President of Ukraine must be abolished. Ukraine should become a fully parliamentary republic. Every Ukrainian president has eventually succumbed to the temptation of power consolidation, and in seeking that power, they turn to foreign actors. This has caused the nation's constant swing from Russia to the West and back again, a cycle that ultimately led us to war. To break that cycle, we must restructure the state at its core. Only then can Ukraine become a stable, neutral, and respected regional partner, the bridge between East and West.